All right, so it's day 11 of our Rediscover Me discussions, and today we're talking about the power of affirmations. And every time I think of affirmations, I always, and I'm sure you guys do too, think of Jack Handy from Saturday Night Live. And what was his thing? I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. I cannot think of affirmations without thinking about that. But the funny thing is, as corny and cliche as affirmations may sound, there's actually something to this. There's research and there's science behind it. And just the same way that if you're ruminating on something, if you're worrying constantly or you're thinking a negative thought over and over again, it actually creates grooves in your brain, which is crazy, like on a record album. Which, by the way, vinyl is making a comeback. I did not know this until Christmas time, and Ava asked me for a record player, and I was like, what are you going to do with a record player? She's like, well, I want a Bob Seger album. Okay, totally random, but vinyl is back. Anyway, so our brains are like those record albums, and we can create the grooves in them with what we're thinking. So we've been doing so much mindset work throughout this challenge. I feel like it's just like a recurring theme. And I think it's encouraging to know that changing our mindset is powerful and can, create new grooves in our brain. And we have the power to do that. It's just a matter of really analyzing the thoughts that you're having on a daily basis and then working to replace those thoughts and stop the negative thoughts. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. So I really started working on this, I want to say like 12 years ago, whenever I started into my whole personal development journey and really dug in deep with some therapy. And I realized that through behavioral therapy that my thoughts were really determining my reality. And that's the case with so many of us. And, I think we beat ourselves up mercilessly. A lot of us do, not all of us, but we say things to ourselves that we would never, ever say to one of our kids or to anyone else in our lives. Like we would never say these things out loud. Yet, if you do an audit of the things that you're thinking and saying to yourself, it's just awful sometimes, right? So really, we want to focus on turning this around and being as kind to ourselves as we are to other people, treating ourselves like we would, one of our kids. And, I think that that's a big part of learning to affirm yourself. And also, when you learn to affirm yourself, you don't need it as much. You don't need that validation as much from the outside world. It creates this sense of confidence and security within yourself. And I think that that is a really powerful thing too. And it's a really powerful thing to teach our kids as we're learning this. So I have a practice that I like to do, and I find some affirmations that are really deeply meaningful to me. And I find that these change over time, like something that you are affirming right now might be something you work on for a while and then you move on to your next set of affirmations. But when I was doing this before, I would put sticky notes up on my bathroom mirror or on my steering wheel in my car or on my laptop in places that were super obvious that I could see them throughout the day. And I would focus on those things and just repeat them to myself on a daily basis. Another thing that I did was some of my favorite affirmations I repeated in my prayer journal on a daily basis, and I found that that was a really powerful exercise. Another thing that I've done, and I have one on my wrist this morning, is thought stopping. If you find yourself in a negative thought, you can wear a rubber band on your wrist and snap it to thought stop. There's something to this. I don't know what it is. You can look it up online. I'm not crazy, but it actually works. To snap the rubber band if you're caught in a negative thought pattern, which I think that a lot of us get stuck in those. I think that mindset is something we can work on our entire lives. It's definitely not a one and done thing. And this has everything to do with self-care too. If you're constantly beating yourself up, then you're not taking good care of yourself. So it's really important to remember this. So I'm going to go through some of my favorite affirmations today, some sample affirmations that were provided. If you sign up at getyourprettyon.com/newyou, you'll get access to this PDF and all of the sample affirmations here. I have a list, 2 lists actually, that you can download. One of them is these affirmations I'm going to read to you now, and there's also a biblical affirmations list too that you can check out. So one of those, the first one is, today is the first day of the rest of my life, and I will take notice of the many positive things this day has to offer. That's a good one. I love myself. I love my body. I can feel how beautiful I am. I do not need to respond to my emotions with food. Rather, I'm in control of my eating habits and eat only when I am hungry. I have the time to exercise and see and feel my body has strength, poise, and assurance. I walk with determination and confidence. I hold my head high. I am strong physically and mentally and emotionally. It is easy for me to be in control of my body, both with my eating and exercising habits. I enjoy looking good and feeling healthy. I live a healthy, positive lifestyle. People like me and I like myself, and I am happy. I can see how much people like me and how much I like myself. I am loved and supported by people who are important to me. I love and care about others, and they know this because I show it to them. I am a loving and caring person. I sometimes enjoy being with people and feel good about my interactions. I see myself as beautiful and intelligent and confident, and that is how I see others, and that is how others see me. I have friends who care about me, and I care about them. I feel great as I live with the confidence to be myself and live my own inner guidance, and can interrelate with those around me without sacrificing my own values, goals, and purposeful direction. I have a lot to be proud of. Today I feel good. I am glad to be alive. I am in control of my life. I have personal power. I am perfectly me. I am the best I can be. You guys get the idea. There are so many great ones. You know, find the one that resonates with you and put it somewhere and read it over and over again. And at first, you may not feel like it's doing anything. You might feel like these are empty words that you're saying, but I promise you, if you just stick with this and make affirmations a daily practice, in some way, that it will start to stick. And again, the words that you tell yourself are super powerful. And be really careful and judicious about the things that you're saying to yourself. You know, I have a challenge for you today. I want you to either set a timer on your phone, pull it out right now, and you can either do it every hour, or you can schedule a check-in, whatever feels comfortable to you. I recommend every hour. But when that timer goes off and that hour is up, I want you to write down all the thoughts that you're having about yourself, or that you've had about yourself within that time frame. And I want you to continue to do this throughout the day, because I think what you're going to start to see happen is slowly you're going to become consciously aware of the negative thoughts when they come in, the stories that you're telling yourself, because let's face it, most of the negative thoughts are not true. They're not based in reality. So just bringing those into awareness and realizing, like, when I first started doing this, I was astounded at how much of my headspace was negative. And, you know, maybe you were raised around negative people and this was your default for thinking and going to worst case scenarios or worrying or whatever. But I do want you to know that this is not ingrained and you can change it. You have the power to change it. And I think that there's a lot of freedom in that, and it's very encouraging, and there is hope that you can turn this around, because what you're going to see is it's going to manifest itself in your life in really positive ways if you just change this one thing. I promise you, it is the key ingredient. It is what's missing. And so first off, take the thoughts captive, and, you know, jot them down. And you have to, there's a 3-step process to this. Number 1 is awareness. Absolutely. You've got to be aware of the thoughts when you're thinking them. Number 2 is to stop the thought, snap the rubber band, or do whatever symbolically helps you stop the thought. And number 3 is replace it. So this is where you're really going to be either taking the opposite of what the negative thought was and affirming yourself, or taking one of your favorite affirmations that you want to work on and replacing it at that time. I want you to focus on this for this week. The week ahead, I want you to really be conscious and aware of this. And I want you to report back to me if you're seeing positive manifestations of this in your life, because I promise you that if you do, you will. Okay? So please keep track of it. Set your timers today. let me know if this is working for you and what your results are. Maybe you'll be surprised and you're not thinking as many negative thoughts as you thought you were, and this is an area that you don't need to work on as much. Or maybe you'll realize that you are bombarding yourself with negativity, and this is something that you do have the power to change. And I think that's the most important thing to know, is that you can do something about this. So anyway, report back to me, and you can also share in our private Facebook group for the Rediscover Me Challenge, which you'll get access to when you sign up at getyourprettyon.com/newyou. I am really curious to hear how this goes for you guys, and please feel free to share some of your powerful affirmations with us, because I think that's important to inspiring other people on the journey with you. So thanks for tuning in today, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow. We're going to continue our self-care discussion. Bye.